Lawfu Cloud Knight Lieutenant Yanqing.
Yanqing is a 5-star stunt character that specializes in single target damage, whilst also being able to provide himself with a large amount of crit rate and crit damage. This guide will go through how you should play him, what you should put on him in terms of relics and ornaments, whilst also providing you with what light cones you should use and what teams you should build with him to maximize his efficiency in Chaos of Memory and or in Simulated Universe. Now we'll be quickly going through his best light codes. His best 5-star option would be his signature, Sleep Like the Dead. It increases the wearer's crit damage by 30%, and whenever your basic attack or skill does not crit, it increases his crit rate for 36% for 1 turn. His second best 5-star option would be in the Knight Sealy's signature. It increases the wearer's crit rate by 18%, whilst also providing 12% crit damage to their ultimate and 6% attack, basic attack, and skill damage every single 10 speed that is over the 100 limits. Whilst this is good, I do find that the crit rate might overflow lots, which makes it less viable than his signature. His best free-to-play option would be Cruising in the Stellar Sea. It increases the wearer's crit rate by 8% and increases more by 8% every single time you attack an enemy that is equal or less than 50%. And whenever you defeat an enemy, it increases your attack by 20% for 2 turns. However, just like Sealy's signature weapon, I think that the crit rate might overflow. Now we'll be talking about his 4-star light cone weapons. His best 4-star would be River Flows in Spring. Whilst it is good, I kind of find it annoying to keep up the buff because you can't get hit whenever you want the buff up. Another good option would be Subscribe for More. It is an unconditional 24% increase in damage for his basic attack and skill. And whenever you have your ult and you don't use it, you get another 24% basic attack and skill increase in damage. Third best option would be Return to Darkness. It increases your crit rate and it dispels a buff on the opponent every single time it crits. Whilst it is okay, I do not particularly recommend you getting the battle pass just for that weapon. The fourth best option would be Only Silence Remains. It increases the wearer's attack by 16%, and whenever there are 2 or fewer enemies on the field, it increases the wearer's crit rate by another 12%. My last resort 4-star light cone option would be Swordplay. It increases damage dealt by 8% every single time you hit the same enemy, and it can stack up to 5 times. While this is good, I do find that it's really annoying because if there's multiple enemies and you only have one main DPS, which is Yanqing, you would struggle very much against multiple enemies because it does not work on multiple enemies at the same time. His best option overall would be 4-piece Hunter of Glacial. Closely following in damage would be 2-piece Musket and 2-piece Hunter of Glacial, and the last following in damage would be 4-piece Musket of the Wild. As far as his ornaments, the best overall option would be 2-piece Space Sealing Station, as it increases the wearer's attack by 12%, and whenever you're over 120 speed, which you should be, would increase the wearer's attack by another 12%. Second best one, which focuses more on basic attack and skill damage, is the Rutilant Arena. It increases the wearer's attack by 8%, and whenever you're over the 70% crit rate threshold, which is pretty easy to reach due to Yanqing's nature of getting a lot of crit rate and crit damage, it will increase the basic attack and skill damage by 20%. The third best option would be Inert Sosoto. It increases the wearer's crit rate by 8%, and when the wearer's current crit rate reaches over 50% or higher, the wearer's ultimate and follow-up attack damage is increased by 15%. Whilst this is good, I kinda find it annoying to rely on RNG for the follow-up attack to trigger, which is like 60%, and I'm not good at winning 60-50s. Following all these relic and ornaments guide, you want to be running crit damage, speed, ice, and attack. Whilst you could maybe run attack boots, it is not recommended unless you have maybe Bronya and other characters that can increase your speed. Our best 3 stats would be crit damage, attack, and speed. The other ones like break effect and affect hit rate might be good whenever you're trying to apply freeze to whenever they break them, but these 3 are still the best. For Yanqing's best team, you want to be running Yanqing with a buffer, so someone like Bronya, which will be very good, which could give you extra turns, or you can run Ting Yuan, who can give you energy and attack buffs. You could also be running them with a preservation character like Trailblazer or Japard, which would provide taunt and prevents Yanqing being hit. You could run them with a Nihility character, or you can ditch them for a double buffer team with Tingyun and Bronya, with Japard solo sustaining them. Or if you want to do the funny, you can run the funny mono ice team with Yanqing, Jingyu, Silver Wolf, and Japard, which might be good for certain situations, but I can see them running into some skill point management issues. How to play him, it's quite simple. Basically, you just always want a skill, and you don't want to basic attack, because if you basic attack, you will lose the Soul Steel Sync effect, which would decrease your crit rate by a lot. Making sure to always build them between 20% crit rate and 30 at maximum, because at 20% you will already reach 100 crit rate if you have the Soul Steel Sync effect, whilst also his ultimate active. Also, you should always want to use your skill before ulting, even if your energy is max, because whenever you skill, it'll activate the Soul Steel Sync, and after you ultimate, it will increase the crit rate and crit damage with an extra amount, because you already have the Soul Steel Sync effect. However, if you force the basic attack, you can use your ultimate right before your turn ends, and it will prevent yourself from losing the Soul Steel Sync. That's about all for today's video. I did not want to cover everything that there is in this kit. However, if you have any specific question about Yanqing, I have quite some experience in playing him, so leave them in the comments and I will try to reply to them as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and see ya.